Here, baby. Yo, hour late. I thought Friday was busy. It wasn't even that. Today was busy. It was just far driving. I had to drive mad far from my last joint. And then the crazy thing is, the paperwork was something happened, just some behind the scenes stuff happened where, and it wasn't my fault. I wasn't even supposed to go as far as I went. So I could have been back here. You know what I'm saying? I could have been. It wasn't my fault. But listen, it's the nature of the job. We working. We safe. Nobody got hurt. Everything got delivered. You know what I'm saying? Everything was accurate. It's just some days, the paperwork be wrong or somebody print out the wrong whatever. Then you got a truck 45 minutes in the wrong direction. It happens. But I'm here. Because I ain't want to miss it today. You know what? This is the universe testing me. This was the comedy guys testing me. Like, yo, is he going to cancel? Is he going to finally cancel? The only 2 times I canceled, was it 2 times? No, I think I only canceled once. I canceled once because it was 2 snowstorms. I think the first snowstorm, I hadn't even started doing this yet. But the second snowstorm, which was like a couple of weeks into me doing this podcast, I just wasn't at work, so I canceled it. But in retrospect, I still should have did it. I should have just sat in my room and just did it, or the living room, wherever, or just sat in my car in the snow and just did it. But, because that's just the vibe. That's the style of this pod. And let me share this real quick to Facebook so a couple people come on over here. Where I'm gonna be stationary doing this. You know what I'm saying? Once it really kick off, once I figure out this algorithm and figure out how to make real money off of this, then the social media is going to be a major source of my income. You know what I mean? And I look for it to replace the day job. We ain't there yet, but we're figuring it out day by day. And today was a test to see if I would abandon it, and I didn't. I'm still here. I made a little quick post for you guys while I was driving the truck, letting y'all know that I'm gonna be here around 5:30. What time is it? It's 5:30 right here, and I'm talking to y'all. As long as I got lungs, as long as I got air in my lungs, and as long as I'm commuting home from work in this vehicle, Monday through Friday, you're gonna catch me here. Now, when I go on my vacation, the week after the next, in 2 weeks, like I leave I leave June the 20th, and I'm coming back June the 29th. Well, really the June the 30th. I got I got like 10 days off. I'm trying to break the math. My brain is frozen. So the 20th, 21st, 22nd, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Yeah, I'm gonna be off work 10 days. 10 days. And I'm gonna be in Los Angeles June the 20th, and the 21st and the 22nd, I'll be in LA. And then June 22nd through the 29th, I'm gonna be bouncing back and forth between Las Vegas and the Grand Canyon. I think that Monday, that Tuesday, we just gonna only do Vegas. Then the Wednesday, we're gonna do the Grand Canyon. The Thursday, we're gonna do the Grand Canyon. I think Friday, we're just gonna do Vegas, and we're flying back that Saturday. Because originally, I wanted to come back that Sunday, but normally I work Monday through Friday, and I didn't want to take a flight back, get back on a Sunday, and then have to turn around and work Monday, But even so, I took that Saturday off. I mean, sorry, the Sunday is off automatic because it's Sunday. But I wound up taking that Monday off still, just to have a me day, go to the eye doctor, just to do some me things, man, just to take care of me. You understand what I'm saying? Set up appointments, clean up, like having a full-time day gig, man, especially when the commute is like 45 minutes to an hour away, you know what I mean? Both ways. So that's basically the driving. I'm driving 10 hours a week just to go to work, That's a lot of time. If you cut that time in half, like what could I do with those extra 5 hours? I could do so much with it. But those hours, I don't see it as time lost. I just see it as those are the hours that I need to spend to contribute to what I'm doing right now, as far as working, as far as podcasting. Because you see what I did, I out of those, it's a 10-hour round trip, right? So it's not really all a loss. Hey, what's up, Real Me? What's up, Sana? It's not really a real loss because the hour that I drive home, I'm doing this. So I took half of that commuter's time because going up, I listen to some podcasts. I ain't going to podcast both ways. But going up, and I still got to stay, my ear got to stay to the streets. I still got to know what's going on. And if I'm always creating and never listening to no type of YouTube, no type of news, or you know what I mean, then I'm going to be out of the loop. So I spend the time going up, usually evaluating my podcast from the day before and just listening to the news in general. And then going home, that hour is spent with what I'm doing with you right now. At least 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So it's like, I can look at it as, dang, man, I'm spending 10 hours a week commuting. Or I can look at it as, I'm spending 10 hours a week commuting, but 5 of those commuter hours, I'm also creating content. And I've been doing it. This is a milestone because this is the 80th episode. We hit episode number 80. Like I said, I only missed one. And we hit episode number 80. And I'm proud of myself hitting this milestone, yo. Sana, you said life done. I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean by that. When I was driving with my bad eyes, I thought you said life dope. You said life done. You have to explain to me what you mean by that because that is extremely cryptic and it could mean a myriad of things. So, Sana, if you're still watching, explain to me why you mean life done. I don't know what you mean by that. What up, Shawnee? Shawnee Parks. Shawnee Parks, ask her. Real Me was good. Sana was good. So yeah, man. Yeah, like I got off of work. You know what? I forgot I got to text. What time I got off? It was like about 5:30. So I have to text them my clock out time so they can adjust that tomorrow. Tomorrow will bring a better you. Yeah, but whenever you're pursuing your goal and your dream, there's things in life that'll try to what's the word I'm looking for? Try to hinder you or try to make you like break a pattern. So you can fall back into a pattern of laziness, a pattern of procrastination. And when faced with those challenges, you gotta rise to the occasion. I just texted my boss. You have to rise to the occasion. There's been many times when I've been pursuing things throughout life, and then something would just happen, and it would just take me off the path. When that was my test, if I would have just showed a little resistance and just stayed on the course, the trajectory could have been different with things. Like, give you an example. In the fall of 2021 to the spring of 2022, when I was in college, my junior year or something like that, I took a piano class. I learned how to read the staff. I learned how to play basic notes. I didn't get into the chords or nothing like that yet, but I pretty much learned. And I had a keyboard at home that I bought, like something cheap for like $100 or whatever, that I used to practice with. We just had it. I don't know. I bought it. My mom. I don't know what it was. I just know it was in the house, and I used to practice with it. And then it just broke. Whatever reason, like, what I mean? It's just a cheap keyboard that's $100. It broke. And there was another smaller keyboard that I used to practice with. That broke too. And we're talking 2002. This is 24 years ago. This is 24 years ago. Keyboards don't cost that much money. And I was working at the time. I had the money to get it. I was supposed to buy another keyboard, maybe for a little bit more money, and keep practicing chords and practicing keys. If I would have stuck with that, when faced with the challenge of the keyboard breaking, I was supposed to face that challenge and get another keyboard and keep practicing. Not looking to the future, like not looking towards like, yo, if you really cultivate this for the next 20, 24 years, that's a whole nother trade you got in your pocket. That's a whole nother avenue of things that you could have done. You know what I'm saying? But I folded to the challenge presented to me. The keyboard, two different keyboards broke, and I just never got another one. And I was starting to figure out how to play little stuff here and there. You know what I'm saying? Just gave it up. Just like that. When I used to draw comic books, like, I think the worst thing for me growing up drawing comic books, I was a pretty good artist, but I never had a mentor with drawing. It was me, my boy Muncho, and my boy Jemiah. We all used to draw. Now my boy Devin and my boy Anthony, they were the writers. So they would write the scripts. Jemiah would draw, Muncho would draw. I would draw and I would write. I had the ability to do both, but my main focus was the drawing. But every now and again I would write too, because I remember writing a short script for Jemiah. To me, Jemiah was the best. He was the most prolific out of all of us. I think Muncho was extremely talented with the drawing, but he never really wanted to show it too much. And me, I probably was the most prolific, but I was like Leonardo da Vinci, meaning, no, I didn't have da Vinci's talent, but I had a bunch of unfinished stuff. Like I could draw real fast, but I would never finish anything. At any rate, we used to all be competitive with each other, and instead of like helping build each other up, we would draw pictures, like draw comics, and then we would roast each other. That shit sucked. That shit is whack. That shit garbage. You know what I'm saying? When instead of just tearing each other down, we could be like, yo, I see the potential in that. What you need to do is this, or use this book to help you with proportions, or use that. And we were tearing each other down. Whereas if we were more constructive with one another, or if there was maybe like an artist mentor that, you know what I mean, that was like a little bit ahead of us, seeing our potential and guiding us the right way, pointing us in the right direction of the proper things to do to draw better, who knows how much better I would do. Now, in that instance, that wasn't really me, because I feel like I was still like a real young kid, you know what I'm saying? But it still was a challenge in a universe that was presented that other kids were faced with, and they persevered through it, and they became great comic book artists. It's crazy because I used to always be anti-copying. You can't copy nothing. If you're going to draw some shoes, you got to make it up in your mind. If you're going to draw some pants, you got to make it up in your mind. If you're going to draw a car, you got to make it up in your mind. I didn't even understand the concept of using references, using things that you see in nature to actually, I didn't really get that concept until I got in college. But by that time, I had already lost my passion for drawing. You know what I'm saying? I had already lost it. And like I said, I had no direction in that area. So I somewhat give myself a pass in that way. But like I said, there's other people that have been through what I've been through, and they were able to figure out and persevere and figure out, you know what? I do need references. I do need to look at these fashion magazines to draw clothes on my characters and stuff like that. Instead of, I try to draw shoes from my mind. I did okay, but it was frustrating because I literally had my own shoes and drew stuff, and I just didn't understand. I did not understand. I was so anti-copying. You can't copy. You can't look at nothing and copy. You got to create it inside your mind. The original person that invented the shoe, the original person that invented the car, yeah, they had to kind of take it from their mind. But I would imagine they even use references from nature. Like when you look at planes, they use the birds as the example to give them an idea of how to put the plane together. I don't know what they use as an example for cars, but they had. I mean, from the buggy, you got the box buggy with the wheels on the side of it, and eventually you'd be like, hey, what if we can make some type of motor to make this, to get rid of the horse and make this box move without the use of a horse? What up, Mason or Macon? I'm good. I'm just doing this podcast thing. Yeah, so like maybe the idea of a car, it started from the barrel or the wagon being pulled by the horse. It started as that simple thing, and then they took away the horse, and eventually they made some type of engine or motor to make the wheels move and stuff like that. And then they realized, okay, this box is cool, but the car moves a lot faster if we make it more aerodynamic, and you know what I'm saying? But the blueprints was already laid for years and years and years and years. And me, as a young artist, as a young teen, I didn't have to draw stuff from my mind, man. All the references was everywhere. It was everywhere. I had drawn. I think my mother got me drawing books and stuff like that. There were ways that I was helped here and there. She got me like an easel, a drawing board. You know what I'm saying? My mother was very instrumental in my artistry, like giving me the tools that I needed. But as far as like the one-on-one, this is how you do this is how you do that. I had art teachers here and there before. What I wanted to do, comic book art, it was just me and the homies. And we was mad, we was mad brutal to one another, man. Like looking back at it, I'm like, if we was constructive, think about it. We knew we wanted to be comic book artists when we was 13, 14, 15 years old. I remember in 9th grade, we had a time capsule. We had to write the things like, where do we see ourselves in 5 years, or what do we want to be when we grow up type stuff. And the two things that stand out to me, I said I wanted to be in like a committed relationship with a good woman, and I wanted to be a comic book artist. I always said that, yo. I always said that. And it's funny now, I'm in a committed relationship with a beautiful woman. And though I'm not a comic book artist, I'm a comic. So somehow, loosely, it came true, but I wanted to be a comic book artist so bad. I used to love Marvel comics, and then when a lot of the artists left from Marvel, they went and they formed Image Comics. That was with Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Mark Silvestri, Tom McFarlane. Those are like the four that I could think of off the top of my name, and it was a couple of other names too. You know what I'm saying? And I just wanted to do that so bad. And then there was a comic book group in our school called Vision Comics, and I really looked up to those guys, and they were a little bit older than me, and I wanted to be in a group so bad, but I just didn't draw good enough. And then there was another group called Complex Comics, which was basically the competition towards Vision Comics. Complex Comics let me in, but they didn't let me in to draw. They wanted me to be a letterer, to do the letters, to do the letters for the comic. Like in the comic books, you got the bubble with the letters in it. They wanted me to be the letter man. And it was just so insulting because I feel like I was a good artist, you know what I'm saying? But those groups kind of used to beef with each other, and it was all this competition where cats could have, like the 4 comics and Vision Comics and like the 4 or 5 comics and Complex, everybody could have all just came together, pooled their ideas, shared each other's techniques, and we could have been a huge conglomerate like Marvel or like Image or like DC or something like that. But we all was trying to be better than each other. What does it mean to be better than another local person? That's so silly. But I didn't understand that as a kid. And oh, by the way, this is a freestyle episode. It's freestyling. I'm flowing. This is episode 80. I made it to episode 80. There was doubts that I could continue the momentum of what I'm doing. But here we are, 80 episodes later, and I'm still doing it. And yes, there were times when I was like, I don't feel like doing it. Even today, I thought about not doing it because I knew I wasn't going to go live while I was in my truck. Ain't no way. It's too much stuff I got to pay attention. Hey, what up, Costas? Sorry for being late. Work went late. You got to rewind it and watch everything I said. But what I was about to say. I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot. But no, like I said, we could have been this big conglomerate, but we were just all trying to be better than each other and downing each other when all of us had a different skill or different talent or different perspective and understanding of sequential art that we could have all helped each other out. And who knows how good we could have been as a comic artists, man, as a comic book company. Eventually, like we formed a company called Dark Comics, DARQ, Devin, Anthony, Raymond, and Quinn. But we just never really stuck with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like looking back on it. But hey, I'm a stand-up comedian. So my comic, it went from the page, making pretty pictures to telling funny stories. You know what I'm saying? Telling funny ideas and just giving my humorous perspective on things. Excuse me. So it's all good, man. I say all that to say this. So when you're doing something good in life, something productive, something positive on a consistent basis, there's always going to be something that tries to thwart that. And I talked about this in one of my other podcasts. If there's no resistance, there's no progress. If something's not trying to stop you, then you're not moving, essentially. So if you feel something's trying to stop you, that means that you're moving. And that does not only apply to literal physical walking and moving. Like if I sit still, I don't feel anything trying to stop me. If I run, you know what I mean? But if I start moving, I can feel the wind, you know what I mean? Or literally somebody trying to hold me. Like if somebody puts their hand on my chest, but I'm sitting down, but I'm not moving, they're not stopping me. But if I get up and I'm trying to go somewhere, they're stopping. He's trying to on the proverbial chest, so to speak. And a lot of times, like I'm 47, I'm going on 48. Yeah, I could probably still. I've drawn a couple of comic book pages, but I've always wanted to finish a book with my hand, not just with AI or anything like that. But it's like I'm a fan of AI. I like it. I enjoy it. And I do feel like even though it's a cheesy way of people generating their art, I do believe people that are actual artists and that are actual wordsmiths and that know to give the proper prompts and know this, like the right things to say, they will get a different output or a different product than somebody that doesn't have art theory. Like I went to college for art. I have a bachelor's degree in studio art and graphic design. You know, I know art history. I know different styles of art that I could tell AI to do. Like I could tell it to do a picture, but make it I could do a graphic design, graphic novel style thumbnail for tomorrow's podcast. But I'll say make it graphic novel style, but mix it with Baroque period and mix it with Impressionism. Like a person that never went to art school doesn't know what the Baroque period is. They don't know what Impressionism is. They don't know what minimalist art is, you know? They don't know what watercolor is, you know what I'm saying? They don't know what oil canvas is. So these are a lot of things that I can say and ideas that I can give. I can say in the style of Da Vinci, in the style of Michelangelo, in the style of Raphael, and I ain't talking about the Ninja Turtles, in the style of Monet. Or I could say Monet mixed with Michelangelo, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that creatively in my mind I can spit out that the average person that doesn't have this knowledge can do. So with the AI, I still feel like I can make it my own. I do want to make my comic. Now I'm going to write it myself, but I don't have the time or patience to draw it with my hands. But I think just for me, for my own personal pleasure, I'm writing my book As Below, So Above. I'm writing my book about the serial killer, the ex Jehovah's Witness, or the ex Jehovah's Witness that realizes that There's a loophole in the Bible that says if people never had the opportunity to reach God, that they will automatically be resurrected in Armageddon with perfect minds and bodies in order to get the opportunity to worship God. So this killer in his twisted mind decides to take matters into his own hands and take the lives of innocent people who never got a chance to know God because he feels like that's their way of automatically going to heaven or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He's sacrificing his own potential eternal life in his mind, in his warped mind, by taking other people's lives, giving them an automatic free pass into Judgment Day. So I'm working on that book, and now I'm gonna be working on a comic book. I might even revisit some of my old comics. I got stuff written in the attic. I got mad pages written. I might just go through my pages. You know what I'm saying? Like the words are already written. Go through the pages and just start illustrating this with this beautiful app that we call AI. People hate AI, but I love it for the things that I do. I think it is a fantastic invention, man. Some folks, they try to downplay, oh, it's just like a calculator. But the thing is, these are tools. A tool is only as good as the person that's using it. And it is a matter of what are you using it for? I do a thumbnail every day for my YouTube. I don't got time to sit here and just drone and create thumbnails. Like I could graphic design that stuff. That especially when I get locked in. One flyer might take me 3 hours to do. Now I could make a universal one. I could just make a generic one, but no. I like having a variety, a different one every single day, 5 days a week. So when you look at my page, when you look at my YouTube channel, it looks dope. You understand? It looks colorful, like a lot of stuff is going on. And I'm actively tending to it, like a garden. And AI, once I realized that with the AI as far as generating my thumbnails, it greatly increased my production, man. Because I'm excited, one, to do the new thumbnails. I love. It's always a surprise of how it comes out. I give it all the prompts, but it's still a mystery as to what you're gonna get. And a lot of times, if I don't like it, sometimes stuff will be off. I still give it more prompts and corrections to change things. So there's still a level of work and creativity that goes into it. It ain't just AI, it's you. It's how you command it to do your bidding. You know what I'm saying? And another thing with it that I love about the AI is that once my video is uploaded to YouTube, it usually takes like a day for live videos to get transcripts. Once I got the transcripts, I copy it, I dump it into the AI, and I ask it to summarize the episode, because sometimes I just forget. So it summarizes the episode, for me. You know what I mean? And I just think about the different lessons that I get out of it. And a lot of times, listening to the summary sometimes will give me inspiration for what I want to talk about the next day. Not sometimes, almost every time. A lot of times Mondays I don't have a title because I do the Friday episode, and usually Saturday is when I go over the episode with AI. And by the time Monday hits, I totally forgot about it. So sometimes I'll listen to it again. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, Mondays are a little freewheeling as far as my titles. But I knew today was going to be a freestyle title because I didn't have a specific thing to talk about in the news. The big things going on. I don't know what the verdict is. I don't know if the verdict has been given yet. But the Carmelo Anthony trial, which is such a sad trial, man. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, two kids' lives are altered forever, man. One kid's life has been taken. He's no longer here. And another kid's life he's pretty much in prison, and doesn't look too good. Doesn't look like he's gonna get out of this situation, man. At the minimum, he's gonna have to do 5 years. But they have to prove it's not murder. But the way the evidence is stacking up, man. Y'all can look up the case. I ain't gonna talk about it. It just ain't looking too good for him, man. And then the other situation with that Asian store clerk, his name is Chow. I think Rick Chow. and he shot a young kid named Cyrus in the back. That's a whole nother case. Well, basically, this happened in 2023. He got acquitted. So, the black community is in an uproar of that over that. And if Carmelo Anthony doesn't get acquitted, they're going to be in an uproar over that as well. And hopefully it doesn't turn into another George Floyd situation. I'm not giving my opinion on either situation. I just said that from the evidence that I heard with the Carmelo Anthony situation, not with the Rick Child situation. It just, for them to be chasing him, and then he said he held up a gun to his son, and then somehow he got shot in the back. It just doesn't add up. But I guess to the jury that made sense. I'm sure they'll appeal it. The Carmelo Anthony, with all the witnesses testifying, they're saying that he was the more aggressive one that night. Yeah, he said Trump should be. Yeah, Trump should be at he's the president of the United States, and he's from New York City. He should be at the Knicks game. That's where the commander-in-chief should be. But a lot of the witness testimony, they were saying Carmelo Anthony under the tent was the aggressor, and I think he knew somebody that was in there, some kid named Eric, but they wasn't friends. They kind of knew each other, and it was raining. That's why they went into the tent, and if Carmelo Anthony is a lot smaller than the bigger white dude, they're saying that Carmelo was like, I ain't gotta go, don't worry, don't put your motherfucking hands on me. Your team is ass. I just don't see a smaller black guy going into a tent with a bunch of tall, big football white dude players and just popping trash, saying, your team pussy, blah blah blah. I just don't. That isn't like something. It just doesn't make sense to me. And they said, he got beat up, so they jumped him, so he stabbed him. But they say there's no bruises on his face. But then they say that they CGI, they airbrushed all the bruises out of his face. But these are the pictures that you can get directly from booking. So they're gonna airbrush the book. I don't know. Like, anytime something is on the news, man, it's like, yo, who knows what to believe? We've seen so many shady things in the media and on the news, man. For every person that's saying this, you can find a person that's saying that. And for every person saying that, you can find somebody saying this, man. My heart goes out to the family that lost their child. And my heart goes out to Carmelo's family, man, for all the stress that they're dealing with, man. I mean, you gotta carry. I've never been the one to carry like knives, and weapons and things of that nature, because I feel like, yes, you gotta protect yourself, but I feel like like carrying weapons all the time, though, just to me, it just attracts like a certain energy. It's a certain. If people talk trash to me, I'm good because I got this skill. To me, it just makes you less humble. Yes, we all gotta protect ourselves, but I think like in some ways, and maybe I sound corny, maybe I sound goofy, but the biggest form of protection is just humility, man. And just watching boundaries. Now, yes, there are going to be extreme circumstances where you're going to come across an idiot that's just going to do some rah-rah crazy-ish. That's always the potential. But ultimately, it's on you, man, how you carry yourself. If you don't carry yourself with a certain energy, you won't attract certain energy. Like if Carmelo, let's say, for instance, if he didn't have that knife, if Carmelo don't have the knife, a scuffle, he might have got beat up or whatever, but that's it. Just fisticuffs. You understand what I'm saying? Now, like I said, I don't know what happened in that tent, but we can all agree if there was no knife, nobody would have got stabbed by that knife. If that knife was not there, nobody would have got stabbed by that knife. I think that's not being biased or being a coon or anything like that. I think we can all agree upon that. It's like the movie Juice with Tupac Shakur. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're young, you born after 2020. If you're born after 2001, go back and watch the movie Juice. Came out in 1992. Tupac Shakur Takes place in New York City, and his four good friends is Bishop, which is Tupac Shakur's character. It's Steel, played by Jermaine Huggy Hopkins. It's Omar Epps, he plays Q, and it's Raheem, and I forget his name. That was like the light skinned dude. They said that looked like Mano, the rapper. That was his like breakout role or whatever. But there was just four young teens skipping school or whatever, just doing little hijinks, getting chased by truant officers, getting chased by the bodega owner and all that. And then they got tired of getting chased around, being punked. So Raheem came up with the idea, like, we're gonna rob the store. So Raheem got the gun, what I'm saying? He's the one that somehow he purchased it. Man, this person little flap done fell out. He gotta hold his flap while his flap on the side of his car like fell apart, so he's holding it while driving it. While driving, what I'm saying? The flap from the outside, like the flap that you step up, he had to pick up. So it's like a little flap you gotta step on and step into the truck. Somehow that came loose, so he's holding it while driving it. That's some hillbilly shit. Anyway, once Raheem gets the gun, he let Bishop hold it. And then it's like once Bishop held that gun, it's like something changed in his eyes, like having that type of power in his hand. When you have power in the wrong hands, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. And his mind got corrupted. And if you watch the movie, you know what happened. He done killed almost all his friends, shot at Q, eventually wound up dying, falling off the rooftop. And Tupac Shakur was a method actor. And he was so engorged and engulfed in that particular character that once the movie was over, like he could never turn it off, man. Like the Tupac spitting at the camera, yelling, beefing with Big, all that. That character didn't really come out really until that movie Juice, man. And it's like, it's just and it wound up doing them in, talking trash, spitting at people, beating people up, and fighting and all that, and just being so aggressive. It's because he had that battery in his back, and it literally started from a fictitious character holding a gun, a fictitious gun. Warped his mind and mentality, man. And it basically sacrificed one of the greatest rappers and entertainers of our generation, man. He was a great actor, man. I think in some ways he was a better actor. I had a joke that I said Tupac Shakur was a better actor than he was a rapper. He was such a great actor that he convinced us all that he was good at rapping. Yes, the joke is crass, but it's my joke and it's nothing I would ever do on stage. But I did it for the podcast. That's how brilliant, like, what I mean? He could have been, when did he die? 30 years ago? 1996? It's been 30 years since Pop died, man. 30 years of acting, 30 years of building your craft. He'd be right there with Denzel Washington. He'd be right there with Samuel L. Jackson, Tom Hanks, Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he would have been right there because he was that good at an early age of acting, man. He was that good back then. Yep. So to bring it all back, he got that knife in his hand, or he got that knife on him, and that just gave him the courage. Poked him in the chest, man. It's just crazy that in this age of camera phones, technology, etc., nobody was able to get that altercation on camera. All them students, nobody had a camera under that tent. They be having cameras for everything, everywhere. Somebody always got a camera. Mad people just own cell phones. I don't know the specific number, but mad people own cell phones, yo. It's just unfortunate, yo, man. And I just had a loss for words, man. It reminds me of the Ahmaud Arbery story. It's basically a situation with two brothers They're in places where people don't know them. I'm not saying they don't belong there, but people don't know them, man. And it's like when you put yourself in foreign territory where people don't know you, especially when you know you ain't like Ahmaud Arbery. I'm not saying he didn't know he knew he shouldn't have been there, but if you in an opposing person's tent or opposing person's locker, automatically they see you as the ops. You put yourself in a dangerous ass situation. I'm not blaming Carmelo for nothing, but it's like, why put yourself in a dangerous situation, man? Like me, I'm a 49ers fan. But if the 49ers are playing the Eagles, you know what I'm saying? I go to Philly. I'm not wearing no 49ers gear. Like, no, man, you know what I mean? I'm not, first of all, I'm not going to go. I just, nah, man. You're not going to catch me on YouTube and somebody fighting me, punching me or whatever, just over some sports, something goofy. I'm just not going to put myself in that situation, man. I try not to put myself in adversarial situations. And if that track team was Carmelo's opposing team, you're putting yourself in an adversarial tent. Now, if it's raining, you want to get out the rain real quick. That's the closest tent. I don't know what happened underneath, but if I was in that situation, I'd be like, yeah, you guys mind? It's raining. I just want to stay here till the rain calm down. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Who knows what happened? I just find it hard to believe. Nobody had a camera. Nobody had an audio recorder. Nobody had nothing. Nobody had cameras. As much as these kids do TikToks and all that, nobody had. I don't know. Seemed kind of fishy, but we're gonna find out. Oh, and Umar Johnson finally built the school allegedly. It's funny, like the video I saw, he was showing like the bathroom and stuff like that. But it's not furnished or anything. So he's still asking for donations to get it furnished. So the school ain't ready there. It still ain't ready. You know what I mean? But hey, at least he's sticking to it. He's persevering. He's trying to make it do what it do. There's other people that have said they were going to complete a task and they never completed it. Like me, I said I was going to finish drawing the comic book, and it's been 30-something years since I've been saying I've been trying to draw a comic book since like 1992, 91, 92. It's been 35 years and I still haven't done it. So Umar beat me. You know what I'm saying? Umar finally got the school together. At least the what's the word? He got the structure together. He has to fill up the structure with furniture and stuff like that. So I give Umar credit because he's doing better than me, because I still have yet to draw this damn comic book. Hey man, I don't dabble too much. That's pretty much, man. With that being said, to all my young and up and coming comedians, there is no such thing as writer's block. If the comedy guys have not given you anything new described on that page, it is their way of telling you to work on the things that they already gave you. Stay away from the gossip. Stay away from the rumors. Stay away from the nonsense. Stay away from the negativity. Stay away from the foolishness. Focus on the funny and lead with love, because life is not something that happens in spite of you. Life is an experience for you to behold. So get to beholding. Much love. Thank y'all for being with me. Episode 80. Holla at y'all. Peace.